Gig Rowing Club would like to come forward. This is something new and something that Susie and I have been involved in recently because it's going to be, I'm sure they're going to tell you, but it's going to be something that's going to be run with the what we know as the raft race, but I think Louis called it the regatta now. Mark, you're going to kick off?
Yeah, hi. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Excuse me. Thanks for this opportunity and invite to come and tell you a little bit about what we're doing here. Some of you whom I know already, so you might know the story. Just while Graham sorts himself out with the iPad presentation.
We've got to find the right connection with it, Mark.
Have you got a HDMI cable in there? Have you got one? Me, Mark Beaumont and Tegan Creasy. Graham and I originally founded the Gig Rowing Club, and Tegan is on the committee, Graham and I are on the committee, and we have a committee that's founded in the Constitution which runs the Gig Rowing Club as a charity, and the objective was pretty simple. Back in May, I think, Graham, back in May, Graham and I discussed the idea of it, and it was just simply to try to I suppose what we saw was, it sounds a bit grand, but repurpose some of the assets of the town. And for us, it started with the river, because we just see that as something that's it is literally a main artery, and we don't really use it. And occasional, dog walking up the river, that's probably about as much as it gets. The occasional mountain bike, and certainly not really much boating in a traditional sense. So that's really where it came from. Graham had a bit of an insight into Cornish pilot gig rowing, or an interest. A work colleague had done something similar and suggested that we try to fire up a club, the most easterly Cornish gig rowing club in the UK, and that's really where it started. And me being, my background is local business, I started 9 now businesses locally, they're all been locally, and they grow and they move on out. One of the reasons being 108 degrees of our customer base here is fish, so we have to move them on normally if we want it to grow. And so it was quite natural for me to say, yes, let's do it. And Graham said, should we do it? And I said, yeah. So perhaps Graham,
sure.
Take over.
Hi, I'm Graham Creasy. Proud to have my daughter here today. I live over the border in Newhaven, so I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. I lived here for the first 21 years of my life with my family. Went to school with Mark, connected up to 20 years. My background is I work for the Chief Executive Legal and General Group in London. My job is to community invest in the US, in the UK and in India. So I as a major investor, I'm also chairman of the For Cancer Group. We provide 1,000 people a year with a break from cancer. I'm also on the board of the Foundation for Social Improvement, which helps small charities in the UK to accelerate and grow, because after about 20k of turnover, they tend to fail. So our job is to accelerate charities and bigger in the UK. Mark and I met at a community event and realised quite a few things, that actually what we wanted to do was bring more people to the river and get more people using the river. There are no other water sports on the river between here and Lewes. It's crazy. Why not? It's an amazing natural resource. We've also taken a lot of our work from this report done by the Centre for Entrepreneurs called Ebb and Flow. Is really worth a look at. It's how entrepreneurs regenerate seaside towns. And we've used it as our Bible to look at how we can create activities here in Newhaven. There's a couple of other people not here tonight. This is Dr. Nikki Tweedy. She's a psychologist for the NHS Trust. She's our cox. She shouts at us quite loudly. She gets the crew going. She's an amazing lady, but she knows what makes teams work, and she uses her skills. This is Mark Sirrett. Mark lives in Horsley Canes. He's in charge of JLT. He provides apprenticeships for the whole of the South East. He drives down every weekend from Horsley Canes to come rowing in Newhaven. We have people driving from Bristol to come rowing in Newhaven. We have people coming from Cornwall, and they hate it because it's the most easterly Cornish gig in the country, and it's not in Cornwall. It's the only gig in Sussex, and we're really proud to have it here. And what we wanted to very quickly do is just explain a little bit about how a 32-foot plank of wood, which is in effect, helps to regenerate the community one row, one stroke at a time, because that's what we've done for 6 months. And we wanted to take... How many of you have seen this on the water going up and down a river? Yeah? It's an amazing opportunity. This was taken up just up by South East. This is the management team from Veolia. This is Alan Key and the team. They've been hugely supportive. Yeah, so they're working really hard on the river. They're going with the tide, as you can expect. Going against the tide is quite a lot of hard work. But what we wanted to do was share with you how this has created ripples and change here. And we'll explain a little bit more about how that's worked. So I will go through these. Mark and I are directors of something called Ouse Valley Adventure Company. We want to do more and more to bring more people to this place in the Ouse Valley, bringing ideas, bringing more people into this area, using the natural resources within the area. Newhaven Gig Rowing Club, we have 220 people in our club in 6 months.
One boat?
Sorry?
And just one boat?
No, in the
just
club,
one boat.
One boat, yes. We've got one boat, and 4 of us own it. We bought it from the guys in Portsmouth. We have one boat. Every weekend we are taking a boat out 2, 3 or 4 times, one after each other, Saturdays and Sundays. When it's a little bit lighter, we take people out during the week. But we are oversubscribed every single time we go out. And we have driven this purely through Facebook, nothing else. Facebook has attracted people
And
to
Newhaven Matters.
And Newhaven Matters, thank you.
Did produce, out of interest, but 9 inquiries. That shows that works.
It did.
Not inquiries, so people attending.
People who come around. It's the only water sport on the river. It's the most easterly Cornish gig in the country. People will travel here to go on it. We've delivered team days to businesses. It's based on a lean startup principles. We leased it. We took a punt. We took our own money out the bank. We leased the gig from Portsmouth. We funded it for 4 months out of our own pockets. It is now fully self-sufficient. People pay to come rowing, and that covers the cost of running our boat. And we've bought it. So Mark, myself, Nikki and Mark, who you saw on the previous slide, we own that boat, and we've leased it to that. We believe in it so much that actually we took money out of the bank and we funded it. And it is already self-sufficient within 6 months.
On that note, what we do is a bit of an innovation of an idea into... Obviously, all clubs have this problem. Most of the assets that any club would aspire to would probably be £10,000, £20,000, £30,000, and if you're going to add building or wages to that, and there's it's probably a laugh out of town for that. But we took a view that if we could take the asset and then divvy it up into the club membership, if you took an asset of £12,500 and turned it into 250 units of £50, then if you have 250 members and they all contribute £50, then you bought the boat back, in effect. And so that's the next vehicle that removes the ownership from us, the initial investors. And we call it investors because the club rents the boat from us. So we still get the £100 a month rent, which is in effect 10% return, which is better return than you're going to get an in money anywhere. So it's an incentive for people to help us get the thing going, but then you get 250 people owning an asset, and then from there, because they own part of that asset, they're kind of integral to the club, and that was the concept which is occurring. So it's quite an innovative approach.
So we're going to
I appreciate. I don't know if we can do it and get on something else.
Yeah. So we've already spoken to the community share company that are based in Brighton, and we'll community share that gig so that everybody can have a share of that gig, and then becomes owned by 250 people within this community. We have the gig shed. So we've taken a lease on one of the units just down, which used to be the old dive centre. We need a place now. We've got a gig, we need a place. So we've been the marina team have been really helpful. We're starting to fill it with rowing machines so we can keep people fit. We need a place to put our kit. That needs to be dried out and stored. And we need a place for people to meet and come together. And in there, we've got, we're spending a bit of time doing it up. We've got whiteboards, we can train people, we can take people through health and safety stuff on how to do this properly. We're really fortunate, there's some amazing people here. Dexter Allen, I don't know if any of you know, we went to school with Dexter. He was the head of fire safety for the fire brigade. He's brilliant at health and safety stuff. Not surprisingly, that's his job. Dex has done a really good job at making sure we run this club the right way, from a health and safety point of view. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time on the people that come to us and come rowing. There are a few people we're calling homing pigeons. They're people that grew up here when they did something else and are starting to come back. And they want to do something very positive for this place. Our club is full of those people. People who grew up and go, I want to make this place better. I've learnt stuff from other parts of the country, the world, other places, and I want to bring that back here. We've got Westerners, the people moving out of Brighton coming this way, who want to connect back into the community here. Lots of people trying to create new routes for their families, which is great for us. Long lost souls. These are people who actually are looking for a little bit of meaning in life. They've kind of lost a little bit about why am I here, what am I doing. People come to the club and talk to each other about what it is they're doing with their lives and where they're spending time. There are entrepreneurs in our group now who had a business idea who, because they've seen the club thrive, have gone, I'm now going to do that. People have taken office space in Newhaven because they kept coming down week after week, rowing, and are suddenly looking for places to run their businesses from. And the last,
quite interesting, the spread of people that's attracted. I mean, that's really, and enticed me. It's amazing that people are coming in, and many of them for the first time. And this is an example of an activity we've done that is bringing people in who are saying, "Oh, this is a really nice place, isn't it? I've never been here," and perhaps only live 5-10 miles away, and that's quite amazing. And if they have been here, I've never been to the marina in Newhaven, so they've never been any further than the obvious ring road. And I think that is a really good example. Or really people.
We reckon we've generated about £20,000 worth of local economic value just from this gig, and that's been in terms of restaurants, new office space taken, leases on the boats, boat builders. We've had a guy who flies drones, who does mapping of geographies, upholsterers, boat builders. Just by doing this one thing, we've created £20,000 of economic value for here, and we've made a lot of people happy. We've raised £1,000 for the RNLI here because the hope were really good. 1,087. Always the accountant is good, isn't it? But 1,087 local training resources. This stuff makes a massive difference. I know we're short on time, but Tiggs looks after the junior rowers. We thought it might be worth saying what difference this has made to the under 16.
And there's around 15 to 20 under 16 rowers, with the youngest being about 8. And they've grown from not knowing how to do it, knowing what the parts of the boat are, how to do it, and making new friends through it, which is really good because then they bring their parents and other family members, which means that more people come to the club.
You've coxed as well?
Yeah, I've coxed a few times.
So Tiggs has taken 6 responsibility. She's been trained as a cox. She's been taking responsibility for 6 fully grown adults out to sea with a Cornish gig. And there are lots of people like Tiggs that want to do that, and what a great responsibility to give to an under 16-year-old is take control of a situation where you will learn a lot. There's in the elements where you are looking after 6 adults. That's what they do. That's what this is the great.
there's definitely a greater demand. There's a much greater demand for the junior row than we had anticipated. We're not quite sure. It's like everything. There's no particular economy of scale for us either, so it's kind of difficult to manage that demand. But
I won't spend too much time. This photo is really important. Rag is a good friend of mine. This was taken at the Hope. These guys rode the channel. Okay, they came to Newhaven to talk about their experience of rowing the channel. We will row the channel from here to Dieppe. It's already in the plans. It's 60 miles. It's 50,000 strokes, and it is amazing. We had a Skype with the rowing club in Dieppe this afternoon. They've been going for 100 years. They have 250 members. We are going over in March. We are taking our boats. We're going to row with the team in France. They're going to come back to here. They're going to row with us. We're going to get the kids from France and the kids from here rowing together. They want to row on the river. We want to row on their river. We will go on the ferry that sits between the two towns. This will happen. These guys have already done it. So what was really good is them coming to the Hope to say, we've already rowed 54 miles from Ramsgate to Holland. It's doable. These people would not have come here unless we had a gig. And that's what they did. They came here, and we can send this around, but these are bits of feedback from a few people that have been rowing with us to explain why this really makes a difference to this place. Our next ripples, this is all about creating ripples. Where we're going to go next with our club, we're going to get more and more people out of all abilities. People come to us, we don't need to market it. Newhaven Matters was brilliant, Facebook's great. We'll start to maintain our boat here. Boat building skills. We've already identified 3 local people that would love to spend more time building wooden boats. The UTC has already been talked to as well. This will really help them.
they actually want us to establish something for them as well, because of their outdoor activities curriculum is difficult for them because of their contained space, but they have a mooring. For crying out loud, they have a mooring in a river, so obviously the synergy between us is pretty good. So we're looking to build skiffs, which are smaller boats, and we can get them involved. My brother, in fact, will get involved technically directing the build of those with some kids, and get them really engaged. It's marine engineering, so that works really well. So I think there's a natural thing to it.
We also want to bring some trophies to Newhaven. There is a big racing scene. If you go to any Cornish village, every village has a boat and they race against each other. So we're already going to Portsmouth in June, the Scilly Isles. There are 400 of these boats in the Scilly Isles in the summer. We are already rowing to Lewis. We rowed to Lewis and back last weekend. They want to race us down the river as part of the raft races, Steve mentioned. We want to do the Rampion Challenge from the wind farm. Is another race that we think can be done, and we're going to go to the challenge
as well. Eon have said that the CSR lady has said she'll support us with crew vessels and support. So it's a bizarre thing to engage sort of everybody.
As Mark said, we'll community share it. Lots of people have given us rowing machines. We will get people fitter. We want to build a water sports centre. There is potential to do that. There are 7 miles of river with no water sports with a public slipway. We'd like to get to that point. We will get to that point. We are going to twin with the Rowing Club. We've agreed that today with them in a 20-minute conversation with them. What they've done in 100, we've done in 1 year. We've got a lot to learn from them. They have Olympic French rowers in Dieppe and a big trophy cabinet. We'd like one of those too. Yeah.
An amazing building. They did get €180,000 funding to build this amazing clubhouse.
You're not going to get that from us.
We're not going to get they have a different structure than on slight envy was taking place on this FaceTime video. So, okay. They just walk around not loving in.
We're looking at other activities, so talking to our members, people would like to start mountain biking clubs, kayaking clubs, amongst other. And these are people that just needed awakening because they saw what the club's done and how quick and easy this is to do. And we've already secured team building contracts with companies to deliver this year, which will pay the bills. Hopefully, in the future, so we create ripples with this. Hopefully, we'll have a coach to Newhaven or coach of Newhaven at some point. Mark's modelling our t-shirts. We have a bit of a competition to see where in the world we can get those t-shirts most photographed. I think the Cornish one is the furthest. Yes, they are on sale, and they're. But we're really proud of it. We're really proud of the people we've got together to do this, and we're self-sufficient, which is what we need to be. We have got experience in running businesses, so we know how to get to self-sufficiency. We've got a lot of amazing people here that have helped us make this happen. A lot of businesses have been really helpful. Chamber of Commerce were really helpful. Viola have been really helpful. The marine has been really good. The food places have been brilliant. Luna Rossa has been our place to hatch plans over coffee. And the Hope have been
It's great, I've been very.
So,
in the banner,
but so in case you have seen that big 35-foot plank of wood, this is basically what we've been up to between us since the 10th of June last year.
Can I just round off by saying, the obvious bit about how to get involved is a Facebook group. Just the Newhaven Gig Rowing Club is kind of easy to find if you haven't found it already. Alternative, there's contact details for me and Newhaven Matters. But you just, the first row is free, so all you've got to do is find out when we're rowing. And it varies slightly with the tide, we're trying to fix it. Just find out when we're rowing, you can do it on Facebook or ring or whatever you need to do. And you just turn up, it's free, and then it's £3 a row. Very, very simple after that. And there's more structure to it, but that really is it. You don't need to do, there is a form to fill out. We train you all the way through, and we just take you to a more experienced level, and then you can choose to join one of the crews if you want. That's it. But there's always what we call a social row. You don't have to be racing. You can just get the fitness and spend an hour, or maybe join the row up to Lewis and back. That's it.
There are days when the rowing boat goes a bit faster than the train, and it's a much more comfortable.
It's more frequent than the train.
It's more frequent.
Twice a month.
Okay, thanks for that. I mean, going on from that, as I say, I've been up with, is it Nicky you said, meeting with the Lewis Rowing Club over the regatta and your race against Lewis as it were on that day, which I'm quite looking forward to. I think you're going down first, and then there's possibility of some canoes going down as well, and then the raft race starts off, and it's going to become a bigger thing. And one of my, and I know, I think that you, Graham, have said this in the past, that the raft race is a Lewis to Newhaven raft race, but nothing ever happens down here apart from the bridge where everybody gets bombed with flour and eggs. And it really needs to be a finishing line, something straight across the river from the UTC to the Arc, something happening down here, and we're trying to put that on this year, and I think the race is it 9th of July, is it?
Yes, 9th, yeah.
Which is when the tides are right, because obviously it's got to be the right tide. So I think it's the 9th of July when the raft races this year, and I'm quite looking forward to that. But I think going on in the future, you're looking at possibly Peacehaven getting a gig, Seaford getting a gig, Rottingdean, and then it becoming a big race like the University Boat Race, in effect, but our own one down here, which will attract quite a lot of tourists and visitors down here.
It will attract people.
So that'll be great. So thanks very much for that.
And the Lewis Rowing Club again have been helpful, and that's an obvious connection to Lewis.
Susie and I are meeting again on Tuesday next week. I think it's the next meeting of the regatta group. Has anybody got any questions?
Can I just ask, the water sports centre, whereabouts at the river are you wanting to put that? Have you any ideas with it?
We've got some ideas. We've been doing some land mapping as best we can, and it's really difficult because of patchwork quilt, isn't it? A lot of ownership. There's some obvious elements. We ideally need a slipway, we ideally need, but our ideals may have to shift. The example's sake is that riverside land by the, what's it called, Riverside Wreck, by the Benton Island. It's possible. We looked at the bit between Veolia and the scrapyard. Again, it's Columbia Threadneedle owned. It We might be, Graham's got some good contacts at investment level, we might be able to do it. There's lots of possibilities, but they're really difficult. And then of course it's
Andy
fun.
Pace has just been sort of forced out financially from his spot with a little slipway.
Yeah.
But it's because of rents and things, so I don't know.
Yeah, we heard that, and I did have a word with him. I mean, that is a really good location. We would ideally like a boathouse, a formal boathouse, where we literally every day just drag the gig up on its trailer and park it to house it from, shelter it from the wet weather and so on. It's not ideal living in the water, but it's what we have to do at the moment. And then, all of the activities could take place on a piece of land that kind of size. And ideally, you'd have an actual clubhouse where it's just got social element, food, maybe drink, and you can make revenue, which kind of covers a lot more stuff. So we're all ears to that.
Okay, all right, thanks ever so much for that. And we'll look out, connect onto the Facebook page. Have we got a link? Can we have a link from our website on that, maybe, or something? Put something on our town council website, link to it, or something, or...
Yes, we have a page for clubs and
Yeah, we'll send you
societies.
a link. That's
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you, Ron. Thank you.